The Ford Focus is one of the best-selling cars in the UK, and they are everywhere on British roads. When something's quite so popular, it's easy to overlook it and have your eye tempted by something a little bit different. But I wanted to know why the Focus has remained so popular for so long. So I've spent the last 6 months living with this one. My Focus is an ST line model in standard race red paint with a 1.5 litre diesel engine and a manual gearbox. It's pretty typical of thousands of Focuses on UK roads right now, and if you were to buy one brand new as of the time of filming in mid-2019, it would cost you £22,855. This one, however, has a few added extras that bumps the cost up to just over £25,300. So join me then for a tour of what you get. The ST line model sits roughly in the middle of the Focus range and is loosely inspired by the ST hot hatch. So, as well as LED daytime running lights and fog lights, it also comes with a few sporty bits like 17-inch alloy wheels and a rear spoiler, and some stiffer sport-tuned suspension. On top of that, I've got privacy glass at the back and a detachable tow bar, onto which I've been mounting this Webbler bike rack. This has been great and has really cemented my opinion that the tow bar mounted bike rack is the best bike rack. It's felt absolutely rock solid on the move, unlike boot mounted racks that I've tried, and I always worry with roof mounted racks that I'll forget the bikes are there and smash them to bits on the entrance to a multi-storey car park. Inside, the ST line trim gives you a flat bottom steering wheel with red stitching, which definitely makes it go faster. There isn't exactly a premium feel in here, but everything is nicely laid out and feels solid to the touch. The driving position goes nice and low, and there's plenty of adjustment on the steering column. Space-wise, I've had very little call to use the back seats as I don't have kids, but there's easily enough room for 2 adults, and you can fit 2 Isofix mounted child seats in the back as well. The boot space isn't exactly enormous, and it doesn't help that I've kept the bike rack in there, but it's still plenty big enough for a couple of suitcases and all the shopping bags you can probably get away with. I feel at this point I should probably tell you about the infotainment system, but if I'm brutally honest, I've only messed around with it because, well, that's my job. It's fine, by the way, it's easy to navigate and use, although on a couple of occasions it has completely frozen and I've had to wait a few hours for it to sort itself out. But once my professional obligations were out the way and I found out what it was like, I've just plugged in my phone and used Apple CarPlay, which does pretty much everything I needed to do from entertainment to navigation. It has Android Auto as well if you have a non-Apple phone. This experience has got me wondering, should manufacturers be ploughing lots and lots of resources into developing these fancy systems, especially at this end of the market? When everyone has a fully functioning computer in their pocket, surely it's better just to harness the power of that, and more cost-effective for everyone. I'm intrigued to know what you guys think about this, so let us know your thoughts in the comments section. What makes the Focus stand out so much in this kind of marketplace is just how much fun it is to drive. Driving enthusiasts might think that they need a hot hatch version to really enjoy the Focus, but the standard car is really entertaining and agile, especially so on this ST line model with its stiffer suspension. It feels like it's up on its toes through the corners and it's really sharp and responsive, but that never gets in the way of everyday comfort. When it comes to mainstream hatchbacks, this is the most fun you can have. And it also covers all the basics as well. It's comfortable, it's quiet on the motorway, all that essential stuff. If I had to really nitpick, the ride isn't quite as comfortable when you have a fully loaded car, but it's still fine. The engine in this car is a 1.5 litre 120 horsepower diesel, which will be absolutely fine for the vast majority of people. If I was doing mainly shorter journeys, I'd probably have opted for the petrol version instead, but because I do a 110-mile commute most days of the week, the extra economy you get from a diesel is what I need. The official fuel economy of this engine is 80 miles per gallon, but that's not realistic in the real world. I've been getting just over 52 miles per gallon, which I'm pretty pleased with, and a full tank will do me the best part of 500 miles. While 120 horsepower isn't loads in the grand scheme of things, it's been enough for me. It's got really good power delivery at low revs, so it feels quite muscular. And the 6-speed manual gearbox is also more than sharp enough. Basically what I'm saying is it's very good to drive. There are a couple of option packs that have been included on this particular car, one of which is the £500 driver assistance pack. This includes automatic high beam headlights, which is nice but not essential. It also includes traffic sign recognition, which is useful if you've forgotten what speed limit you're supposed to be adhering to. It also has automatic cruise control, which I love. when you're doing a lot of motorway crawling along, having the car keep an eye on the speed of the car in front and automatically match it takes a lot of stress out of proceedings. The other pack that's included on this car is the convenience pack. This includes automatic parking, which I haven't really felt I'd needed, but could be useful if you're not particularly confident at manoeuvring. It also includes a rear view camera, which again is useful but not really essential. Lastly, it includes door protectors, which are nice to have, but I'm not really sure that all those things are worth the £750 price tag. So, any issues with the car? Well, apart from the infotainment screen freezing, as mentioned earlier, only a couple. About a week ago, the car had been parked up for about 3 weeks as I'd been driving other cars for work, and the battery had gone flat. While I managed to open the car using the key mounted within the fob, I couldn't open the bonnet because in order to do that you need to open the passenger door, and I couldn't open the passenger door because there was no power to unlock it. So I called the Ford Assist service, which all Ford customers get for a year after they buy the car, and then for increasing years if they have their car serviced at a main Ford dealer. Within just a few minutes, a man from the AA had turned up, wrestled the bonnet open, recharged the battery, and in less than an hour after I realised there was a problem, everything was sorted. They didn't know that I was a journalist or that this was a press car, so I was really impressed with how quickly it was all sorted out. Weirdly though, the flat battery issue appears to have had a knock-on effect on the electric windows. Let me demonstrate. What should normally happen is that I pull this toggle once and the window should go all the way up, but it doesn't. What I now have to do is hold on to the toggle, but if I hold on too long, the window goes back down again. This is very annoying. As this has only just happened, I haven't yet had time to get it looked at, but I intend to very shortly, so let's cut now to future Phil to explain what happened.
Thanks me. So I called all of Ford's local dealers, but all of them said they had at least a 3-week waiting list, which was no good as the car would have gone back to Ford by then. So I cheated a little bit, called the press office, and they said they'd heard of the problem before and told me to look up in the manual something about resetting window bounce back. That's the feature that stops you trapping your fingers in the window. Found it in the manual, did a series of button presses, and hey presto, it all works again. So that's excellent, and I saved myself a 3-week wait and a trip to the dealer. Back to you, old Phil.
Thanks, future Phil. You've aged beautifully, like a fine cheese. So, that's the end then of 6 months with the Ford Focus, and I have absolutely no hesitation in recommending it. It's got all the practicality you'd expect of a mass-market hatchback, but in this ST-line diesel spec, strikes a really nice balance between being genuinely fun to drive and economical as well. It's really no surprise that there's so many of them on the road. I love it, and I'm really going to miss it. Now, if you want even more information on what it's been like to live with the Focus, I've got a month-by-month breakdown at autotrader.co.uk. If you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Autotrader YouTube channel. We've got all sorts of things to help you find your next car.